Hello, children. So, this is your second part of your fourth unit, Morphology of Flowering Plants. So, in the last class, we saw about the types of plants and the parts of a flowering plant, and finally, the regions of a root. So, in this class, we are going to see the continuation of the lesson. So, let us start the lesson now. Types of root system. So you know what is a root system and what are the functions of a root. So the root system, it is divided into two types. One is taproot system and another is adventitious root system. So this taproot system, as you can see in the image, a primary root will be present in the center. So a thick center root will be present, and on the side you can see small fibrous root arising from the center, the primary root. From that small hairs will arise. So whereas if you see adventitious root, so this will have it is like a fibrous root, and these adventitious root, they will grow in places where the root will not grow. So the other parts, other than the part where the root is growing, on the other parts when the root starts growing, it is known as adventitious root. So first we will see the definition of taproot system. So a seed will have two ends, radical and plumule end. So from radical is for the roots to grow and plumule is for the stems to grow. So from the radical, a primary root will arise and it will grow vertically into the soil and they become the taproot or the main root. So this is the taproot system. So usually it is present in dicot plants. Example, carrot, beetroot and pine trees. Here are the images of taproot system. You can see carrot, beetroot and pine trees. So these three are the examples of taproot system. Next is adventitious roots. So as I already told you, the place where root is arising. So when the root grows instead of the radical. So the place where the roots grow is radical. So instead of radical, when the roots grow in any other part of the plant, then that root is called as adventitious root. So this adventitious root, it is mostly common in monocots. The examples of adventitious roots are sweet potato, sugarcane, and paddy. So these are the examples of adventitious roots. Let us see the benefits of ginger now. So it is anti-cancerous. So it helps to prevent of getting cancer. So next is it helps to relieve from motion sickness and nausea remedy. So that means the feeling of vomiting. When we get such feeling, ginger can be used to treat it. So it prevents gas and bloating. So when gas is formed inside the intestinal system, so due to the gas present, the intestine, it gets bulged. So all these things are protected by the ginger. The cold, flu and prevention and treatment. For the prevention and treatment of cold and flu, ginger is used. And for headache, migraine relief also, ginger is used. So it helps to prevent diabetic nephropathy. That is due to diabetes, sometimes the kidneys is getting affected. So such type of disorders can be prevented by consuming ginger. Next is anti-inflammatory, and it boosts immune system and it improves the heart health. So these are some of the benefits of consuming ginger. So the second topic that we are going to see is modification of roots. So the root, in some cases, it will change totally its shape and its function. So that is called modification. So instead of looking like a exact root, it will have a different form and it will perform a different function. So about those roots only we are going to discuss now. First, we will discuss about the taproot modification. That is, what are the modifications that have undergone. The first modification is storage roots. So, example carrot, radish, and beetroot. So, all these vegetables they are actually roots. So, due to modification, they have got the shape of a vegetable. So, they have the storage of the food content, and the root has been modified into a vegetable. So, this is the modification of storage roots. Let us see the definition now. So these roots they are thick, fleshy due to the storage of material. So what happens inside the roots? All the food materials gets stored again and again, and it forms a thick, fleshy part. So that is called as storage roots. So like this only the carrot, radish, and beetroot has been formed. So these are called root tubers or fleshy roots. So as these roots they store nutritive material, they are considered as root crops. So they store the food materials, that food materials contain nutrients. So they are called as root crops. So the subdivision of the storage roots, if you see, means conical, fusiform, and the third is napiform. So conical means in this type the root tuber it will be in the shape of the cone. So in conical shape it will be, example carrot. And fusiform, what will happen, the root will get swollen and in the middle, and it will decrease its size on the end, it tapers to the base. So the base will be very thin, only the center part will be swelled up. So such type of roots are called fusiform roots. So example radish. The third type is napiform. So it is very broad at the base and suddenly tapers like a tail at the apex. So on the base, it would have been swelled up, and slowly it will decrease its shape to the top. So this type of shape is known as napiform. Example beetroots. The second type of modification is respiratory or breathing roots or nematophores. So in these roots, what happened? Instead of growing to the ground, that is the roots, instead of growing towards the ground, it will change its direction and grows towards the land. That is, it will grow vertically, and the roots can be seen above the water. So the direction of the growth will change totally. So why such growth is taking place is, it is due to get oxygen, because inside the water and the soil the root will be finding difficult to get oxygen. So for that purpose it will change the direction of the growth and it will get the oxygen. So such type of root growth is known as respiratory or breathing roots or nematophores. For this example, Avicennia, and it is usually found in mangrove forest. This is the picture of Avicennia, which is present in the mangrove forest. And below the branches, you can see the roots, that is the nematophores arising above the water. Next is nodulated roots. So in the root nodules, that is in the root gaps, some nitrogen fixing bacteria will get settled inside the nodulated roots. So there will be small knots on the roots. So there the nitrogen fixing bacteria will go. It will take up the atmospheric nitrogen, the nitrogen that is present in the air. It will take up and convert it into ammonia or nitrates and give it to the plant for its growth. So this is the function of nodulated roots. So this is the third modification of the taproot. This is an picture of the nodulated roots. So you can see the root has growing, and in the center you can see small knots called nodules. So there the bacteria will be present to fix the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, and give it to the plant. Modifications of adventitious root. So what is adventitious root? When the roots grow in any part of the plant. So instead of growing in the radicle, when it grows in any part of the plant, that is called as adventitious roots. So in such roots, when modifications occur, these are the things that will happen. So the first type is fleshy roots. So here the roots will transform into storage, food storage place. So like the carrot and beetroot, it will turn into a food storage place. So example, Ipomia and Dahlia. So these are the two roots where the root will turn into food storage. And next is prop roots. So in prop roots, the root will arise above the stem to give extra support. So such stems are usually, they are very tall and slender, and the prop roots, they develop at higher levels and the stem elongates. So what happens? The roots will grow very long and slender, and it will increase the length of the stem. So example, Ficus bengalensis. So these are the examples of prop roots. So the next is clinging roots. So this clinging roots, they will grow all over the stem. So these are small branched roots, and on each node, that is on the branch, will be there on each below the branch, that is called as node. So the place below the branch is called as node. So on each node, the adventitious root will grow. So this is called as clinging roots. So example for clinging roots is Tecoma and pothos. So next is Hostoria roots. So these are parasitic plants. So parasitic plants means they depend on the host animal or plant to get nutrition. So they cannot prepare their own food. So they kill another organism and get the nutrients. So they suck up the nutrients of the host plant. So such type of roots, the parasitic plants, will have the Hostoria roots. So what these roots will do is, it will just penetrate into the tree or any big plant, and it will take up the nutrients from the tissue, and in such a way they get the nutrients. So they are known as sucking or parasitic nutrients. So example for such roots is Cuscuta. The third is assimilatory roots. So usually roots will not have the chlorophyll. They are mostly achlorophyllous. But in assimilatory root, they are chlorophyll. That is, they are green in color and helps to synthesize food. That is, photosynthetic happens in the roots. So example, Trapa. Here are the images of modification of adventitious root. So first is Ipomia, which is the food storage root, and next is Dahlia, and the next image you can see is Ficus bengalensis. So that is the prop roots. So from the stem the root arises, and Tecoma and pothos, they are clinging roots which grow all over the stem, and last is the parasitic root, that is the Cuscuta. So this is the picture of Trapa, the photosynthetic root. So in this root, the photosynthesis will occur since chlorophyll is present. It is a green root. So example, Trapa, assimilatory roots. So the next topic that we are going to see is the shoot system. So already we have discussed about the shoot system and root system. So this is the main part of the shoot system is the stem. So in a stem, what are the things that will be present? It will have branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So the leaves will be attached to the stem, and on that place is called as node. So I have already told you what a node is. So the characteristic feature of the stem is they are positively phototropic. That is, the stem grows towards the direction of sunlight, and negatively geotropic. It grows towards the opposite side of the gravitational force. So they are negatively geotropic and they have a terminal bud. So on the tip of the plant, the bud is present. So that helps to maintain the vertical growth of the stem. So the stem will have flowers and fruits and leaves on it. So the stem will be divided into nodes and internodes. And then the functions of stem is it gives support to the branches and the leaves. So without the stem, the branches and leaves they could not stand upright. So the main support is due to the stem only, and it helps to expose the foliage to the sunlight for efficient photosynthesis. So for the photosynthesis to happen, it needs adequate sunlight. So this stem, it will help the leaves to get the sunlight, and so that the photosynthesis process may take place, and it helps in the conduction of water and minerals from the roots to the leaves, and the food materials from the leaves to the other parts. So the water has to come from the root to the other parts. So for that also, stem is the main helpful path, and for the transportation of food from the leaves to the other parts, stem is being very useful. So the second modification is modification of stem. So for that only we saw an introduction about what is a stem and what are the functions of a stem. So in certain plants, the aerial stem, the stem above on the top part, the stem is present, or the buds. So they will be modified to perform some special functions. So like climbing for protection purposes, it may turn into food storage, or it may give vegetative propagation. That is, if the part of the plant falls down into the suitable substratum, it will grow into a new plant. So instead of performing the same functions, when the stem is being modified, it will perform some different functions. So that is called as modification of stem. So about these modifications we will be discussing in the next class. So till this I will stop the explanation of the lesson, and in the next class we will see about the modification of stem in detail. Here is an interesting fact about pineapple. So the word pineapple comes from the European explorers who thought that the fruit is combined with the look of a pine cone with flesh like that of an apple. So the flesh is like the apple, whereas the look of the fruit is like a pine cone. So what the European explorers, they thought that it is a combination of the pine cones and the flesh of an apple. So and pineapple is the only edible member of the bromeliad family. So the pineapple belongs to the bromeliad family. The other members of this family are not edible. Only the pineapple is edible. So this is one interesting fact about the pineapples. So we have completed the session, and the homework for you is the notes will be given as usual in the WhatsApp group. So copy all your notes very neatly and avoid spelling mistakes. So while writing itself, just read the part and get more understanding about it. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.